What is drag? Its history as a form of entertainment goes back hundreds of years and spans cultures from across the globe, from Japanese kabuki theater to ancient Greek drama where the female characters were portrayed by men, to more current examples in pop culture, such as frequent John Waters' Muse Divine, Australia's Dame Edna, and of course, RuPaul.
So a drag queen is somebody who does not identify as a woman in their daily life, who performs drag as a woman.
But in addition to drag queens, there are also drag kings.
And a drag king is someone who does not identify as a man in their daily life, performing drag as a man.
In either case, it's not the same as cross-dressing in daily life, and it's not necessarily a statement about gender identity. And while sometimes their acts, as well as their stage names, can be a little risque, drag is, at its heart, a type of performance art.
In my opinion, a drag king is anyone of any gender who portrays a male caricature on stage.
Performance-wise, it's very similar. It's the lip syncing and the interacting with the audience and the theatricality of all of it. In that, kings and queens are very tightly knit. I think the difference really comes in really the exterior of the gender that we're portraying when we're on stage.
It's an art form growing in popularity all across the country, including here in St. Louis, where the Gray Fox presents a king show every week called Manic Monday.
Welcome to Manic Monday.
We've seen some very successful kings here in the city, but I don't know that we've ever seen them able to sustain a full show for a very long time, and I'm glad to see that that's happening here at the Gray Fox.
That may be due, at least in part, to the fact that this newer generation of kings has taken notice of and advice from their queen sisters.
And they were using some of the tricks that we use, the more elaborate costumes, but they were doing it on their own style as a male persona, and it was really translating well and it was very entertaining.
For me, I think there might be a stereotype that girls grew up putting on makeup or whatever, so that we would have some sort of advantage being a drag king. But I never wore makeup prior to doing drag, ever. I went to one high school dance and my mom paid to have the girl at the mall do my makeup because neither of us wore any makeup. So I think just seeing the way that the queens paint their faces was really inspiring to me.
We could look like boys. Boys traditionally, it's unmasculine to wear makeup. So if we wanted to look like a boy traditionally, we could just go barefaced and in a suit and get on stage and lip sync. But we're trying to become almost cartoonish, masculine features. So we're over chiseling the cheeks. We're trying to highlight the forehead and flatten the nose, sort of draw on these crazy beards sometimes.
Makeup or not, getting up on stage in that other persona for the first time isn't necessarily easy. And for some, it means putting themselves in a very vulnerable position.
Where I went to school, it was very, very homophobic and it was just very not exactly the safe environment to be gay in. Because I grew up in a very small rural community, an hour and a half outside of St. Louis. And I knew I was gay for a very long time, but I didn't come out until college. And so it's still that intrinsic, am I gonna get beaten up for being in drag right now? If someone finds out that I'm gay, are they gonna harass me or stare at me or worse?
It was mildly terrifying because it was new, and new experiences are really scary sometimes. So for me, especially being a non-binary person, I feel a lot more empowered and validated when I perform as a king, because it allows me to continue this love of dance and this love of performance that I've had for over 20 years. But I get to explore the masculine part of my identity.
I have so much hair in the bottom of my bag, it's disgusting. That's real. I get called sir every single day. Like, I cannot remember the last time a day went by when I did not get called sir out of drag. And as someone who does identify as female, just because I decide to express my femininity in a different way than like the mainstream, it's like it's sort of disregarded, and it's like really uncomfortable sometimes. I get called sir when I don't have control over it, so for me it's really empowering to get to become sir and have control over it.
The reception they've received from St. Louis audiences has been overwhelmingly positive and supportive, and they hope that will help lead to greater acceptance of everyone, both on and off stage.
But I like to think that no matter what gender you are, your drag is valid, no matter who you're portraying or what you are. It's an art form, and it's time. The world was ready for drag kings.